What's going on, guys? HowToAdvance back with another video. And today I'm going to show you how to solve a Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds, or less. If you stay until the end of the video, you will be able to learn these techniques and be on your way to applying them. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe, and check out the description box below. Now let's get into the video. It's a lot easier than it looks. Do you think you'd be able to solve a Rubik's Cube if I handed you one right now? Many people would say, no, before making that hilarious joke about peeling off the stickers that I had never heard before. But what if I told you that solving the Rubik's Cube is actually quite simple? While it will take hours and hours to get to the point where you can solve it in 30 seconds. The process of solving the cube itself isn't all that difficult if you have the right tools. I will tell you exactly how to solve the Rubik's Cube for the first time, and how the task that many consider impossible is actually very doable. So, what exactly is a Rubik's Cube? The Rubik's Cube is a famous puzzle created in 1974 by Rubik, a Hungarian professor. The puzzle is made up of a large cube that has been divided into three 3x3 orientations of smaller cubes, each of which can rotate 360 degrees. Each side is assigned a color, and the cube is said to be solved when each side is only one color. Every time you rotate a side, the colors separate, causing the puzzle to become jumbled. Once the cube has been completely scrambled, as in the example below, the goal is to try to piece all of the colors back together until it is back in its solved form. Isn't it simple? The concept itself is simple, but being given a scrambled cube and trying to solve it for the first time is a very daunting task. I started playing with the Rubik's Cube at the age of 10, and was instantly hooked. I was certainly not smart enough to work out how to get the cube back to the solved state. But the internet was here to save the day, as usual. After a quick Google search, some reading and a couple of YouTube videos later, I learned about algorithms. A sequence of moves that will move the cube from one state to another. They seemed complicated at first, but with a little bit of practice I was able to get the hang of them and solve the Rubik's Cube for the first time. What is the best way to solve the Rubik's Cube? The Rubik's Cube has 43 quintillion possible scramble states. Which means that the combination you have on your dusty Rubik's Cube in the cupboard has most likely never been seen by another cube owner in the 47 years of the puzzle's existence. Assuming you scrambled it correctly. The cube is solved in stages, with each stage reducing the number of possible combinations until only a few scrambles remain. As an example, imagine you have a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle with the border already created, as well as a pile of scrambled pieces. The chances of you picking a piece from the pile and it fitting perfectly with an already solved puzzle piece are extremely slim. However, as you solve the jigsaw more, your chances of getting a perfect fit improve. This process is repeated until you reach the final piece, which has a 100% chance of fitting perfectly with another solved piece. The Rubik's Cube works on the same principle. The first half of the puzzle is completely intuitive, with the goal of narrowing the cube down to only 2 layers to solve. Algorithms are then implemented to complete specific cases until the cube reaches its solved state. The following is a step-by-step breakdown of how to solve the Rubik's Cube. The first step is to make a white cross and a face. The first step in solving a Rubik's Cube is to draw a cross in the color of your choice. I always use white because that's how I learned. Then finish the rest of the face. It is worth noting that the center pieces of a cube cannot be moved. They can only rotate. As a result, certain colors will always be diametrically opposed to one another. White is always the inverse of yellow, blue is always the inverse of green, and red is always the inverse of orange. You must use this knowledge to make a white cross with the cube's edge pieces. The colors of each edge piece must match the colors of the center pieces. For example, the white and blue edge pieces must be joined to the white and blue center pieces. There are 4 pieces in total that work this way, as shown on the left-hand cube below. Note that the white, orange and white, green edge pieces are located at the back. After that, insert the corners in such a way that the colors form a band around the top layer of the cube. The majority of people who pick up a Rubik's Cube for the first time make a mistake here. They place the corners in the wrong place, making progress with the rest of the cube impossible. This is also the point at which most people give up. Step 2. Identifying and resolving the middle layer. The next Rubik's Cube step requires you to turn the puzzle upside down, putting the white face on the bottom and working your way up. After that, you must solve the middle layer by resolving 4 of the remaining 8 edge pieces, completing 2/3 of the puzzle. The beginner's method requires 2 algorithms to complete this stage, whereas those who solve the cube in 30 seconds use a different method called F2L, which I'll discuss later. After solving the middle layer, you will be left with the top face and the final layer until the cube is solved. Step 3, identifying and resolving the yellow cross and face. The third step in solving the Rubik's Cube is referred to as OLL, or orient the last layer. And it entails solving the yellow side. Unlike with the white face, we are not aiming to solve the band around the outside, as we did in step 4. Instead, we are concerned with ensuring that all of the remaining pieces are in the correct rotation, with yellow on top. Once you've solved the middle layer, there are 57 possible states in which the yellow side can be found. The beginner's method simplifies this process by solving the cube into a cross and then inserting the corners using 3 or 4 algorithms. The world's fastest solvers can save time by learning 57 algorithms, 1 for each case, rather than the 3 or 4 that beginners use. This is due to the fact that it eliminates the need to solve the yellow cross and solves the yellow face from its random state. Step 4, arrange the remaining pieces. The final step in solving the Rubik's Cube is known as PLL, or Permutate the last layer. And it involves rearranging the positioning of the solved yellow pieces. Similarly to OLL in step 3. You may be presented with multiple cases during this part of the solve. There are a total of 21 cases, which means that the professionals must memorize 21 algorithms. However, the beginner's method, like OLL, only requires 3 or 4 algorithms to complete the 2-part process. The first step in step 4 is to position the corners so that they match their respective color. This leaves the edge pieces, which must be rotated around a cycle until the cube is solved. The algorithms for this stage are slightly longer and more complicated, but the cube will be fully solved at the end. After this step, your Rubik's Cube is complete. As I mentioned at the beginning, the cube is not difficult to solve and follows a logical sequence of events. How is it possible to do all of that in less than 30 seconds? Solving a Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds is a goal I've had since I first started watching YouTube videos of world records being broken. While it will take a long time to reach the sub-10-second mark that the fastest solvers are capable of, and will most likely never happen because I don't have a lot of time on my hands anymore. The 30-second mark is a number I am happy with now that I have reached it. It takes a lot of practice, as well as understanding how the cube works, to achieve the 30-second average. By holding the cube correctly, turning the sides with the correct fingers, quickly recognizing the cases, and executing algorithms from muscle memory, the 30-second mark is quickly attained. Furthermore, learning the 57 OLL and 21 PLL algorithms will undoubtedly help improve your times. Though I haven't done this yet, I believe it will help you reach the 20-second average because you will be able to complete the stages much faster. I previously mentioned F2L is an alternative method used by speedy solvers to solve the Rubik's Cube. The acronym stands for first 2 layers, and it is a shortcut that allows the solver to insert the middle layers as well as the corners for stages 1 and 2. While the beginner method begins with a white cross, then the white corners, and finally the middle layer. F2L will combine the placement of the white corners and the middle layer pieces to speed up the process. This stage, on the other hand, is completely intuitive and takes a long time to master. If you were to divide a 30-second problem into time allocations, you would aim for the following. The cross, 4 seconds F2L, 16 seconds OLL, 4 seconds PLL, 6 seconds. This may appear impossible to those who have never solved a Rubik's Cube, but it is easily accomplished with practice. While it may sound corny, the idea that practice is the best way to improve holds true in the case of the Rubik's Cube. I believe that with enough practice, anyone can get there. Last thoughts. One of my favorite pastimes is solving the Rubik's Cube. While I don't spend as much time as I did when I was 16 trying to get faster, I still pick up a cube and enjoy messing around with it from time to time. My interest in Rubik's Cubes has evolved into a broader interest in puzzles, with me occasionally devoting some of my free time to figuring out how to solve the larger puzzles, such as the 6x6 and 7x7 cubes. Cubing is a great hobby to get into. Pick up a Rubik's Cube if you enjoy puzzles, math, and brain teasers in general. You will not be sorry. Thank you for watching the entire video, good luck and stay tuned.